you've done a good job saving for retirement. You have maybe high six figures, maybe $1 million, maybe a couple million or more. And now you're thinking, how am I going to make this last through retirement, 20, 30 years, maybe even? And that's a really good question, an important question. I'm Roy Furr with Asset Strategies. I'm sitting down with Justin Widick, the co-founder and a financial advisor with Asset Strategies. And we're going to talk about how to make your savings last through retirement. Justin, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Roy. Appreciate it. Looking forward to our conversation.
Absolutely. So Asset Strategies serves over 2,000 clients across 48 states from our offices here in Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska. And we work with clients all the time. And importantly, to this particular question, many financial advisors will just say, hey, I'll sell you an annuity and the annuity will pay you for life. However long or short your life is, the annuity will pay.
Mm-hmm.
Asset Strategies, as a general rule, does not use that as a tool or as a primary tool for helping folks. But here we are sitting, and if you're 60 today, if you're in your 60s and you're retiring, your retirement could last 20, 30 years.
Yep.
So how do you approach this question? How do I make my money last through a retirement?
Yeah, that's a great question, Roy. We want to look at all the different sources of income, that a potential client would have. That might be a pension, might be a Social Security, maybe for a husband and a wife. And then again, we're also looking at their portfolio and what that portfolio can generate. We generally feel like clients are better off controlling that portfolio and maintaining the flexibility and the liquidity of that versus tying that up into some kind of annuity with kind of the structured and rigid framework it has, and also the high expenses. So
yes.
A lot of times we're going to use, after figuring out what other income sources they have, we just want to kind of finish out the puzzle or the pie and what areas of income do we need to fill with their portfolio. And then we go through that, make sure that we have those dollars available when they need to be available, at the rate they need to be available at. And then if there's any shortfalls, obviously we're hoping to be talking about that with the client prior to retirement. But we want to go through that and just make sure that we fit that investment portfolio in where needed, at the amount needed, and so it's timely.
Yeah. So, entering retirement, we have these different income sources, Social Security being the most universal.
Mm-hmm.
And we have certain expenses, required expenses, and maybe some extra spending money, whatever that looks like for folks.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And there's often a gap between Social Security and how much you want to spend.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just looking at, what do we need to fill that gap?
Mm-hmm.
And then how can we fill it this year, next year? But how can we think about long-term growth? Because as you were mentioning before we started recording here, that the long-term drag of all the fees of annuities can potentially make that perform not as well as having more control.
Yeah, I think the way you want to think about it, if someone wants to take out, if we use the long-term 4% rule.
Yeah.
Okay. And someone wants to take out 4% of the income out of their portfolio, and let's say it's $1 million. So they're taking 40,000 out. But then maybe that annuity with a bunch of layered on fees, the fees might be 3%.
Yeah.
So then that's another $30,000 of fees. They get $40,000 of income, but then there's $30,000 of fees layered in. That's going to be a drag on their long-term ability to grow that portfolio and give themselves a raise down the road.
Yes.
So that's something we're thinking about actively. So for us, an annuity solution is always the exception, almost never the rule. And we don't, again, typically would not make that recommendation. We'd much rather use a strong portfolio of funds, ETFs, so the client maintains that liquidity and maintains that flexibility without steep surrender charges and all those different things that annuities come with.
Okay, excellent. And I know that having it not be a default makes Asset Strategies a little bit unique versus a lot of advisors in the industry. But I know also that what it comes down to is you and Chad and the team here thinking, what would I want if the roles were reversed? Doing unto others the best that you would hope that they would do unto you.
Exactly right. Yeah,
Okay.
That's where we want to be. We want to make sure that we're, for our parents were considering retirement, or family, friends, or aunts and uncles. We want to make sure that we would treat people, the way we want to be treated.
Yes, perfect. Well, if you're getting to the point where you're starting to think about questions like this. Okay, I'm transitioning to retirement. I want to know how can I make my money last? How can I make my money last maybe without annuities, or what are the different options that are available? Asset Strategies does offer a free Ready for Retirement review. It's an opportunity to speak with a member of our team, come in, sit down, speak with a financial advisor, no cost, no obligation, and just see how ready for retirement are you? Do you have that plan in place? Are there additional things that you need to be doing to kind of get you to a spot where you can feel really confident moving into retirement? And we'll include a link with this video where you can request that. Justin, thank you so much for
Yeah.
being here answering these questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Roy. Appreciate it.